ahead and share out the space. And we plan on having a decent conversation. I don't know how far you guys may be from DC, but if you get a chance, April 15th, definitely go and check it out as well, too, guys. So for my people coming in on YouTube, guys, tonight we're going to be discussing a reparations rally demonstration that they're having in Washington, D.C. on April 15th, guys, of this year. We're going to also be talking about 7 reparation ideas for Black America. It was an article that came out, I think Revolt had this article, and they were talking about 7 reparation ideas for Black America. I'm going to share those with you tonight, and you guys can just tell me what you think about it. There are things that people talked about as well before, too, but like all of us, most of us consider the actual real reparation tangibles to be actual cash as well, too, guys. So shout out to you guys coming up in here. I guess I'm going to go ahead and I'll touch up on this actual article, and then, we can go from there. Talent can go ahead and he can start discussing it. Definitely talent. It next month is the actual rally 415, right? April 15th. Okay, Talent may have stepped away from the mic.
Hey, peace and love. Peace and love. Yes, April 15th, 11 a.m. We are in Washington, D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial near the Reflective Pool.
All right. Let me go ahead real quick, guys. I'm going to touch up on this actual article about the reparation ideas, and they're going to talk about this reparation. We're going to also talk about the reparation rally demonstration taking place in DC as well. Shout out to all you guys coming up in here as well, too, guys. Definitely go ahead and retweet the space out. For all my followers up in here. Retweet the space out. From Neo Jim Crow, it says, and it's up in the Jumbotron. It's also in the description on YouTube. 7 reparation ideas for Black America. One of the main challenges of reparations is determining how much money to consider an appropriate repayment. How much does centuries of disenfranchisement cost? What is the appropriate amount to make up for the 400 years of free enslaved labor that built this country? The truth is there's no amount of money, land, education, or resources that could ever account for the atrocities performed against Black people or the pain and suffering they experienced during slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, and beyond. However, African-American descendants of enslaved peoples deserve more than the failed promise of 40 acres and a mule that was proposed in 1865. While the U.S. government cannot turn back time, here are 7 reparation ideas to ensure that African-Americans are properly and rightfully compensated. Student loan forgiveness. That's number 1. They got student loan forgiveness. According to the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for African Americans, Black students are 40% more likely to take out student loans and graduate with almost $25,000 more in debt than their white counterparts. This discrepancy is one of the major contributors to the racial wealth gap between Black and white Americans. During the COVID-19 pandemic, student loan payments were placed on hold through the CARES Act under the Donald Trump and Joe Biden administrations. In the summer of 2023, just before the student loan repayment pause ended, the Supreme Court rejected President Biden's student loan relief plan, which would have forgiven up to $20,000 of debt per borrower. Per the Roosevelt Institute, canceling $50,000 of student debt per borrower will result in a 40% increase in wealth for African Americans. As the conversation surrounding reparations continues, forgiving student debt for the descendants of enslaved peoples would make a significant impact on closing the income inequality gap. It would also give African Americans a better opportunity to participate in the economy and generate wealth through home ownership, retirement planning, investment portfolios, and more. Housing assistance and home ownership, that's number 2, housing assistance and home ownership. Providing African Americans with grants for down payments, lower interest rates of mortgages, and rental assistance would be a great step in righting the wrongs of the past. During the Great Depression, President FDR enacted a collection of programs known as the New Deal to help stimulate the economy. One of those programs included the National Housing Act and Homeowners Loan Act, which will prevent foreclosures and provide home buying assistance through the Federal Housing Administration. Many Black borrowers were not offered aid because providing mortgages in predominantly African American neighborhoods was restricted. Areas on the map were colored in red because those areas were considered high risk. This practice, known as redlining, led to the segregated housing and a significant increase in home ownership for white Americans, which further widened the wealth gap. Some may believe the discrimination from the New Deal programs is a thing of the past, but Black communities are still facing its aftermath. According to the Center for American Progress, 74% of red line neighborhoods are considered low to moderate income, and 60% of those areas are communities of color, which is a display of how institutional racism greatly interferes with generational wealth. How do we fix it? State governments can start by examining the parts of the country with a housing reparation plan in place. Like Evanston, Illinois, in 2020, the city established a plan to repay their Black residents by using taxes from the sale of cannabis products to provide housing assistance. The plan includes $25,000 toward a home for residents or their descendants who have lived in Evanston between 1919 and 1969. Several state and city governments are implementing methods to provide housing support as a means for reparations. All right. Number 3, free college tuition. This is number 3, what they said. Ridding students of the burden of debt would not only be a reparative act, but it would also make higher education more accessible to American descendants of enslaved peoples. The average rate of college tuition and housing is about $20,000 per year for public colleges and even more for private universities. The Center for American Progress reports that 69% of Black students drop out of college due to student debt. Before the National Student Loan Deferment in 2020, the typical student loan payment for those who were actively making payments was between $200 and $299 per month, according to the Federal Reserve. Removing the weight of those payments will not only incentivize students to enroll in universities and graduate, but it may also encourage them to pursue graduate degrees. Several universities already provide free tuition for indigenous students, including the University of California System, the University of Arizona, the University of Montana, and the University of Maine, where indigenous student retention increased over the national average of 41% because of their tuition programs per NPR. The tuition models used at these universities should also be applied to African American students. Higher education can be an effective avenue for success, and Black students deserve the opportunity to receive this education without the burden of paying high tuition rates. Returning land, they have that as number 4. The theft of Black-owned land has gone unnoticed for too long, according to the inequality.org. 90% of the 14 million acres of Black-owned land in the 20th century was confiscated in the 21st century. California Governor Gavin Newsom is at the forefront of reparation efforts like returning historically stolen land to its rightful owners. In 2021, Newsom signed a Senate bill that returned Bruce Beach to the descendants of Willa and Charles Bruce, who owned the land before it was seized through eminent domain by the Manhattan Beach city officials in 1924. After learning about the area, Manhattan Beach residents and activist Kayvon Ward rallied the community and led the fight for the rightful return of the property. Ward is continuing her efforts through Where Is My Land, an organization she co-founded to help Black families reclaim the land that was once theirs. The state of California developed a reparations task force that conducted a report with restitution plans for African Americans, including amendment efforts for seized homes. If California can do it, other states can follow suit. Number 5, maternal health resources. Due to racial discrimination in medicine, Black women are at least 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. The critical issue is highlighted in popular culture when tennis champion Serena Williams almost died from childbirth. Her claims of having shortness of breath were disregarded. At 8 months of pregnancy, Olympic sprinter Tori Bowie died after suffering from complications during premature labor. In addition to this, historically, the bodies of enslaved women were used for experiments by physician J. Myron Sims and others. The history and the false belief that Black skin is stronger and thicker than its counterparts have impacted how Black women are treated in healthcare. A study by the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences uncovered that preconceived racial misconceptions about physical differences between African Americans and white Americans affect the way in which white medical staff perceive pain in black patients. For this reason, black mothers should be provided subsidized maternal care. Childbirth on its own can be a traumatic experience, and medical discrimination can drastically exacerbate that trauma. The reparation effort can include the provision of prenatal and postpartum care by a midwife to ensure that the soon to be parents have someone to advocate for them. An NIH study reported that participants with the doula care were less likely to use epidurals and labor more likely to begin breastfeeding. Black women deserve to feel safe and comfortable in after childbirth, so prioritizing their care is crucial. As more states legalize cannabis use and the industry is becoming more and more lucrative, nonviolent cannabis related convictions should be expunged, according to the Business Insider. 70% of the top executives from the 14 largest cannabis companies are white men. The ACLU reports that black people are almost 4 times as likely to be arrested for marijuana possession. Misdemeanor and felony records mean that offenders lose their basic rights like voting, travel, parental rights, and social welfare programs, which decreases the opportunities for jobs and self sustainability, and subsequently increases the livelihood of being arrested again. Effective restorative justice would allow the formerly incarcerated for nonviolent cannabis offenses to participate in the business side of the industry. In 2022, New York Mayor Eric Adams established a cannabis equity program which provides cannabis licenses to those previously arrested or affected by New York's former drug laws. One of the most significant ways for reparations to work and equity to manifest is by ensuring that those who were arrested and served time for cannabis related offenses are compensated, able to participate in the industry, and gain financial freedom. And lastly, I say direct payments, number 7. As a capitalistic society, money talks in the United States. Providing reparations through a direct one-time payment or monthly installments could create a substantial impact on reducing the wealth disparity between black and white Americans. The U.S. government is no stranger to direct reparative payments. Under the Ronald Reagan administration, the Civil Liberties Act of 1988 was enacted to atone for the racist and unjust imprisonment of Japanese Americans during World War II. Eligible Japanese Americans were paid $20,000 in restitution. While that amount was not nearly enough, this proves that the United States government can provide reparations for African Americans. Similar to what California and Massachusetts have already done, each state can develop a reparations task force with the help of economists to determine a justifiable cash payment for the descendants of enslaved peoples. Shout out to all you guys up in the room tonight. Shout out to all you guys up in the room. We're covering reparations tonight, and as you can see, we're talking about so far we just covered the actual 7 reparation ideas for Black Americans. This article was curated on Newstoter.com platform. Make sure you guys visit Newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news. And we're also going to be discussing the actual reparation demonstration rally that they're going to be having in D.C. on April the 15th, guys. I don't know if you guys may be able to make it or not, but Talent, I believe he's one of the organizers. He's up in the actual space tonight. He's going to discuss exactly what's going down with that as well, too. So we're going to be talking on this tonight. It's going to be a reparation night. Like I said, if you guys have any disagreement with that article I just read about the 7 reparation ideas for Black America, please feel free to drop a comment or come up to the microphone as well to request to speak, and we will definitely let you go ahead and speak as well too. So shout out to all you guys up in the space tonight. We appreciate you being here this Monday night with us, and definitely go ahead and repost or retweet or whatever it's called on X now. Go ahead and repost the actual space out for the night as well to let everybody know it's a reparations night going on as well. So Talent, did you want to go ahead and let everybody know exactly what's going on with the situation, what's going to be going on with the actual demonstration in DC and some of the stuff, just behind the scenes, or what you can expect for the actual event coming up?
Oh man, thank you so much for the platform. I definitely was taking some notes towards those 7 points that you was referencing for which you read off. I definitely want to go through those things as well. So first and foremost, shout out to Newstoter. Thank you for allowing me to come on the platform and kind of echo out, some of this advocacy that we're working on. So April 15th, We're holding a reparations demonstration in Washington, D.C. We chose April 15th because it's the date Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, and we understand his assassination led to Andrew Johnson taking presidency, and then we could get into the pardoning of the Confederates and everything that would begin to attack the rights that we were fighting towards during the era of Reconstruction. So we specifically chose that day because it signified, I would almost say, an attack on our freedoms that began once we became free. And also, it's tax day, and I know, the Department of Treasury knows how to cut those dollars, right? We understand that money can be directly given to us, similar to what we've seen happen over the COVID crisis or the pandemic that we were under. So it's 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. The main goal of it is to have all reparationists and or Black Americans, whichever delineators you have, whatever term you use. I stand on Negro, but it's open to everybody, freedmen, Black indigenous folks, all of us who have ancestors who were freed by the emancipation of free people of color before 1900. The goal is to create a platform where everyone can come out and really get their demands put on record, right? We all speak about reparations, we discuss tangibles, but, we all may have a different, desire and a need for what that's supposed to look like. We all stand directly on lineage base, right? And we definitely stand on direct cash payments. So we want to see exactly how we can allow, members of our community, specifically that exists within this reparation space, to have an option and an opportunity to come outside and make their demands heard. One of the calls that had me want to put this event together is the lack thereof of content around the conversations that we have, right? A lot of it exists in Twitter spaces, but we don't necessarily see enough footage of us actually being at events and being on record saying things. So one of the main things that we're going to do is really just be capturing everyone's speech. If you come out, you speak for 10 minutes, you'll get a copy of a 10-minute speech, right? We have a videographer, a sound mixer, so it's going to be clean and crispy. So you can drop it on your Facebook, you can drop it on your Instagram, you can take it to your TikTok, and it's really setting the stage. So, similar to the flyer that you guys see in the Jumbotron, right behind us on the way that we framed it out is going to be the Washington Monument, with the reflective pool there. We're going to be directly in front of Abraham Lincoln and that the great steps who our ancestors had marched and had always went to, especially when we think about Martin Luther King and our Have a Dream speech. And the ultimate goal is really, like I said, to get people to come outside, come together as a family and really get on record what we stand for. One of the other goals of it is also to double as a lobbying day, being the fact that it is a Monday, it's a day of the week. After your 10-minute speech, your 15-minute speech, I want people to be able to roll up on their state rep and say, we out here for this and this is what we demand. So we get a bunch of people out there from different states. It's going to shake some stuff up where, we're going to work on making sure that it's a lobby day. So on a lobby day, you can literally pull up on your rep with certain demands, certain interests that you have as a constituent representing your community in Washington, D.C. I wouldn't say it's different than anything we've seen before from those in the reparations fight. It's just adding to it, adding more advocacy to it. And, ultimately, like I said, the goal is to be able to take that amazing footage that I know we're going to have and really be able to separate and spread it all online, because we need more platforms to hear about these amazing conversations that we have. And like right now, these 7 points, I'm sure people on TikTok that's of the lineage don't know about. I'm sure people on Instagram of the lineage don't know about. So it's really making sure that we are able to kind of add, a level of sophistication to our talking. It's going to feel presidential. We're going to have the flags out there. It's going to be a stage. It's going to be a podium, so you can come with a written speech to have it on your phone. It's going to be mic'd up. And it's really just to make sure that when, people get a copy of this speech and how we push them online, it comes across serious, not cell phone footage that gets a little blurry, but real crispy, clean 4K, 6K footage with a clean mix that we can begin to attack online. So when people are saying, well, what's reparations? What do y'all want? What are y'all talking points? Y'all don't have a strategy, or y'all don't really know what y'all agenda is. No, we have an agenda. It starts with lineage-based repair. It starts with direct cash payments, and then it expands towards specific things that each, individual from the lineage wants to specify. And even on the flyer that I have, there's a few things that we put on the flyer that we represent: direct cash payments, protected class status, an Enforcement Act 2024, or think of an Enforcement Act 2.0 when we think about, hate crimes in our school system, as well as just in crime. We are always at the highest of victims of hate crime. Our ethnic delineation, we want to make sure that we have a specific box for us, whether that's a class box or a lineage ethnic box. Speaking to what you said in your 7 points, we want to look at a lineage homestead act, right? When we think about historic Black communities, when we think about areas that our people been ran out of, what does it look like for us to have our own levee towns, right? When you think about levee towns, it's an area that they built for middle class white people and just let whites get all that land. So how can we get a lineage specific or a class specific homestead? Voluntary association is something that I've seen happening in Illinois, where there's this desire of individuals to see if Black and Hispanics or Black and white kids would like to segregate or separate so they can be educated. And I hope a voluntary association would allow us to really start reclaiming our education system back and getting away from 70% white women teaching our kids. Return to special field order 15, we always gonna stand on the original promise, get that land back, or whatever forms of land grants that we can get. We've had so much land that was taken away from us, so we always want to see our land back. I put tech and trade education because we know that we're moving forward within technology, and we do not want our kids to get left behind. We want to make sure that there's tech centers. Something that we're working on is there's something now called VR training with HVAC trade. So you can literally do HVAC in a bunch of different trades with VR training. You put the goggles on, and it's like a simulation of you, literally like you're at a Christian construction site or like you're at a renovated home, and you can literally get a national certification literally off of VR training. So we want to make sure, since they took these things out of our public schools, we can have access to that. So it says tech and trade education. Protecting Negro history, y'all know what that is, making sure we ain't got to deal with what they talking about in Florida, or the banning of Black history, or the whitewashing of our history, pan-Africanizing our history, but making sure that we have our own history that is specifically for us, and we are the gatekeepers of that. Abolish involuntary servitude, that's that clause in the 13th Amendment that allows them to do prison labor as slave labor. So what we look to see how we can advocate for that to be done on a federal level. I believe Tennessee did something. It was on the docket in California. They ended up voting away from it. But if we could remove the involuntary servitude clause in the 13th Amendment, that definitely would change the privatization of the prison industrial complex and pay a fair wage towards our people that's literally in jails right now, making everything for cents on the dollar per day. CPS Child Protection Act, that is, getting CPS out of our communities, and if children need to be removed from homes due to some circumstances, let them go to family members or people of the lineage. And think of like the Indian, which is an Indian Child Welfare Act, where they have to go specifically to someone of the cultural competency within the tribe. So we want to do the same thing and not allow, these white folks to keep coming stealing our babies. Even what you put with the in the next one is a birthing center. So I love when you read the points, it had that stuff about maternal health. But we want to make sure that we have birthing centers and a pathway for midwives for our women and our men. I had my daughter at home. I literally pulled her out the water. It was me and my fiance. She's 1.5, well, she's 13 months now, a beautiful, healthy baby. We can do it on our own. We have historically done it on our own. Many of our parents or grandparents were born in the house and were healthy. So we want to make sure we get back to birthing centers and having access to the necessary resources, so we're not losing our women and our children in these hospitals that are, killing them. The last two is federal contracts. We want to be able to have a minimum of 15% We know that the affirmative action policies are under attack right now, and a lot of it is because they coupled everybody else into our legacy of struggles. So conservatives are kind of shooting at the bubble, right? It's a bubble that bursted now because minorities, people of color, and all these other groups have been able to find a way to get involved in our legacy and our lineage. So we want to make sure that these set asides, these contracts, the money that happens directly on the day-to-day level, we have access to it. And the last one, always, on code with the family, the Freedmen Bureau. We need a dedicated agency to be able to oversee the multitude of recommendations and implementation areas that we need. So being able to have our own bureau would be very important for where we are right now, especially when you just see what happened in Illinois, but now they're about to say legal immigrants can have firearms. We need to make sure that we can expedite, a lot of our things and be able to go to a bureau that's specifically for our class of people. So, yeah, those are just a few things that we have on the flyer, and it's open for everyone to kind of add theirs. This is not mine, right? The permit, not just what to get, but this is something that's for us. So everyone of the lineage is welcome to come and be able to kind of position what they believe repair is for our people. And, I just hope that we can continue it, right? Let's do something else Juneteenth. Let's do something else in the fall. Let's do something else over the holiday. But just kind of doing more of getting us outside. So it's open to everyone. On the flyer, there is the info for anyone that wants to be a guest speaker. You can shoot us an email. We are looking for 10 to 15-minute speeches, right? Way more time than people get on these apps, right? We're also looking, people have less. You want to do 5 minutes, no problem. Also volunteers. We're going to have some T-shirts that we're going to put out. And anybody that wants to contribute, if you can't come, cool, throw some money at it, help us. We put money up for the stages, for the T-shirts, for everything, refreshments and stuff. And lastly, anyone that cannot make it, we are asking them to record a 5-minute video, maybe in their home, some type of backdrop that's relevant to the cause, stating that, they're in support of the reparations push for our lineage and what reparations would be and how it would impact their lives, just as an opportunity to bring more humanity to our cause, so we can utilize those 5-minute heartfelt speeches and statements from individuals that can't make it and flood that online as well. So if you can't make it to DC, no problem. Get a clean backdrop, get the Black Heritage flag or the Juneteenth flag, the David Hammond's flag, and give us 5 minutes of why reparations is important to us and why this call and this demand is not going anywhere. We're just going to continue to get louder, and then allow us to kind of just flood the internet, right? That's the goal. Take all of that and flood TikTok, flood Instagram, and the reason for the content I land here is because I was really inspired by the viral video of Mark Carter when he went viral in Chicago. Just a video saying this is who we are, this is what we stand on. And I said we need more of these videos of us common folk who really care about our people and have a reason for us to do so, to kind of be the ones that speak for it. Because if not, we see so many people are trying to speak for us, the Narcan and Cobras and other entities are trying to steal our claim from us and make it Afro-descendant or Afro-this or that, or we don't want no money, we just want programs. So this would be an opportunity for us to kind of centralize, our message, under lineage and direct cash payments. Everything else can change. Our identifiers don't have to be, the same, but, it's that. And it's called Save the Negro because that was on Special Field Order 15. It was called Negro Slavery. They said Negroes for sale. And when you do anything on the marketing side, when they see that Negro, they know who you're talking about, but it is not against anyone that has another identifier. And I land there. Any questions, comments, concerns, let me know.
Thank you, Taylor. I definitely want to see what people have to say as well, too. Not only about the actual the demonstration that you guys are going to be doing in April, but also if they had any questions or any issues, or they want to just say about what they feel about the actual 7 reparation ideas that article had that I actually read too. So I definitely want to hear it as well too, guys. Don't be afraid to come on up here. Talent, Tell me, are there any other organizers? Are you the only organizer for this event?
Well, it's me, Elder Val. I would say we're the premier ones. Elder No Taxations helping behind the scenes. Elder Wellsing's helping on behind the scenes. So we got a couple hands helping behind the scenes. But again, it's open to, anyone from the lineage who wants to, help and, get involved,
All right, appreciate that. We got original. What's going on tonight? Original just became also a member of the Newstoter platform, guys. So definitely, I got that up in the jumbotron as well too. We got memberships. You can support us monthly by getting a membership. You can get one for as low as $1.75 a month. It's a reoccurring membership. And I mean, you can't get much cheaper than that. So if you have not already signed up to the Newstoter platform, definitely go ahead and think about it. I'm talking from my people on X and my people on YouTube as well too. It takes about a minute to create a profile. Go ahead and sign up and get you a cheap membership to help Black media. Let me go ahead and get to original. And yep, I got you as well too. I see Val, you up here. If you want to speak, Val, go ahead and get your hands up and we'll get to you as well too, sweetie. Go ahead, original. You got it.
Yeah, I want to reiterate what you said about support because, see, if people understand that, organizations like in Cobra, who are not Black organizations, they're financed by white people, they're doing white people's bidding. They've been in existence since 1987, and it wasn't until the grassroots got reparation popping, and then they wanted to jump in and try to take over the direction. So this is what Black media can when you support Black media, this is what Black media can bring you. It's not about going to look at these people who are going to put a propaganda message out there. That's why they're saying that there is that don't believe what you see on the internet. No, don't believe what you see on the regular news. So that's why you should, if you can, get a membership. What I want to say about this was that article you read was, see, first they said in there, you was reading, they said Black people, which is and then this article is on that revolt, which is, I'm kind of questioning that because, see, I do believe that Puffy is in trouble right now, and he would do anything to get this stuff off his back, including selling us out. So it said Black people instead of saying American descendants or U.S. descendants of enslaved people, and I don't think the word lineage was in there as well. And see, that's an issue for me. And then, like they cited Evanston, Illinois. What they're doing in Evanston, Illinois is a joke. Because they said you got to prove that you were discriminated against. Who do you think have that kind of information, to go back and find? I mean, this is insane. And, and then like when they said, the free college tuition, and I did hear you say housing, it didn't say anything about the books being free, I mean, everything should be free, not just a couple, not just one, because if we're not like, direct with these people, they're going to try to pull the wool over our eyes. And so, and the issue with, maternal health, that is extremely important because they don't see us basically as being human. And they just, if you survive, you survive. If you don't, you don't. And so I just want to throw that out there because especially since this, and the last thing, one of the last things is that they cited cash payments as being number 7. Cash payment should be number 1 because this is a debt that is owed to us, and we're going to get this debt. We can't just. I mean, that's why I say this is on that revolt website, and like I said, Puffy is in trouble, and we have to watch some of these people, especially some of these high-profile people, whereby they may pretend that they are assisting us, but they're sabotaging us at the same time. And I'll land with that.
Real talk. Thank you. Thank you, original. And you shout out OG Bags. I see what you said on YouTube. So shout out to OG Bags. Shout out to all the people over there on YouTube, guys. All my people over there on YouTube, definitely share a nice broadcast. Share a nice broadcast. But you're right, original. They had the actual the direct payments is the actual last one. And some of the stuff they're saying, the student loan forgiveness, housing assistance, and stuff like that. You know, when you start talking about student loan forgiveness, I don't have an issue with any of those things being on there, as long as the actual, like you say, direct payments is number one. As long as you got direct payments number one, okay, then I would say put the land, and then you can go ahead and you can add these other things as well too, because I believe in I believe in actually having the actual cash and having land as well too. But then you got to have a number of other things as well too. So, hey DJ, your phone, you got to mute up. Let me go ahead and get to yup, and then we got Val, we got Talent back as well. Anybody else that wants to speak as well too, guys, definitely go ahead and speak. Support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Talent, if you have a link to anything that you want to put up in the Jumbotron in terms of just any information, if you have anything where people could donate to the actual reparation rally, put that up in the Jumbotron as well too. Once again, $Newstoter, Newstoter, guys. And like I said, we're trying to build up the base as well too. So we definitely trying to get more and more people to become members of the actual Newstoter platform. Let me go ahead and get to Yep. Yep, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Good evening, Hashi Squirrelo, Puppyo Puplali. I just wanted to come up and throw the support of my organization, Concerned Black American Citizens, Inc., established in 2019, behind this event, and as well the CJ40 cohort, which is a 11 organization, 7-state cohort, climate and economic justice cohort. And I hope all of our members will be there in support of this as well. So I hope everybody turns out. Everyone using reparations for Negro freedmen. If you can show up, please do. And support by retweeting, telling a friend. But yeah, thank you. And thank you, Talent. That was a great layout and amalgamation of years on this app and other places. Conversations between those of us who are descended from chattel slavery here in America. And I think we have a good, solid core understanding of what it is that we are seeking in this. And I strongly support a federal bureau. But you did a great job, I think, of amalgamating and representing. And I hope everyone, really takes this opportunity, especially given that it is an election cycle. We want to grab some attention away from that distraction, knowing that most of our community is probably leaning one way, and we need to give them options, and we need to educate them in order for them to have options. I'm looking forward to maybe being a speaker. I hope to talk about enforcing freedmen rights for Negroes. Definitely support the Bureau. But yeah, I hope people take advantage of this so that we can keep this momentum going. It's extremely important in organizing and advocacy to get the community involved, and also to show proof that you're out here, that you are touching grass, that you are supporting them. And it's important to get out there and put a cohesive message out. And it's critical to capture that in various media forms and disseminate it to the people that can't make it. But it's proof of work. And that's why it's important to record it and mark it down. Just like we take inspiration from the Freedmen Conventions in 1865 that happened in Raleigh, North Carolina, or the colored conventions that happened in the 1830s, the Negro conventions. We are blessed to have records, the minutes from those, to see that we've always done this, and we've always succeeded. And I think we have especially at this point in time, the tools, we've got media, we've got knowledge, we've got the internet, research, but we've got cause of action, I think. And I think we're more powerful at this point than ever before. And I'm excited about April 15th, and I'm excited about also Chicago in August. And not to forget about Juneteenth. But yeah, let's show up as much as we can going forward. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Shout out. I see Brooke over there on YouTube. Tom Thumb says, where are all these reparation rallies popping up from out of nowhere after the work been put in? Tom, you still got a lot of work that got to be put in as well, too. So, I mean, you just really is really just still in its infancy in terms of trying to get it out there. So, you know, you're going to probably need more and more of these actual demonstrations and rallies popping up as well, too, to really get it spread across the nation as well, too. So, you know, people have been putting in work for a while. You know, they've been having rallies and everything else for the past couple of years. So they're not just suddenly popping up out of nowhere. You know, people putting in the work, not only just online, but in the actual communities as well, too. So there are a number of people that, you know, been putting in some serious work out there. So you're gonna definitely need more and more of these as well, too. So let me go ahead and get
to 50 million of us. So, but thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Let me go ahead and get to Val. Val, what's going on with you tonight? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Peace to the family. Glad to see everybody in the space and showing up for this informational. I'm really excited about the demonstration, April 15th. Hopefully everybody that's here and in the space can come. And if you can't, then absolutely send us a video. Don, I have you down. Brother Nuko, I have you down to speak. I'm trying to see who else in the space. There's a few of you. You know who you are. If I don't have your information, I'm just asking that you DM me. So that I can have it all in one spot. I won't have to look at emails, but put it in my DM that you want to speak. And only information I'm asking you for is I absolutely want your email. I want your topic that you're going to speak on. If you've got that available for me, that Negro, yeah. I think you're on also to speak. But, yeah, I'm excited. I hope everybody can come. If not, just share the information that if you know anybody in Washington, D.C. that might be interested, to share, you know, like family or friends, share it with them. Share the our poster on your page. Just do everything. We need all your support. But if you're not there, this is going to be for digital content, and we want it to look good and be really something that we can send out to friends and family about reparations. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Val. Thank you, Miss Val. Let me give a shout out to R. Bailey for the super chat. R. Bailey says, the issue I have with others weighing in on our reparations, they find ways to limit our access. So that's R. Bailey saying that basically when people, they weigh in on the reparations, they find ways to limit our access to it. Let me go ahead and get to talent, and then we're going to get to Brother Mocha and anybody else that wants to come up and speak as well, too, guys. Like I say, and tell us what you think about the actual, when you heard us talking about the 7 reparation ideas for Black America. Do you guys agree with that? I mean, I'm sure you don't have an issue with it, but like Original said, the direct payment was last. You know, you can't have a reparations and direct payment as last. So shout out to Original for talking about that. Let me go ahead and get to talent. Then I'm gonna get to brother Moku as well. So guys, definitely feel free to come up here and speak and tell us what you think about. Like I say, not only the reparation demonstration going on, but also, do you have an issue with? Do you think that the reparation ideas should only be basically just monetary? That it should be monetary. If you think it should also involve policy as well to go along with the actual cash payments, feel free, like I say, to come up here and speak as well. I don't have any issue with policy being tied to the actual reparations, but first and foremost, cash has to be king, and then you can go ahead and set laws up and policies and everything else specifically for those Black Americans descendants of chattel slavery. Let me go ahead and get to talent, and then we got you, brother Moku.
Hey, beloved, peace and love. Before I get to the 7 points, I also want to say that though the demonstration is happening on the 15th, which is a Monday, many of us are going to get there on the 13th. So we're going to be out there, boots on the ground, walking around, shit up to Sunny. We threw it up in the air about some of that stuff going on at Howard University. With some stuff happening with some of these kids from the diaspora. So we want to, check the temperature and really show some ethnic pride for our people, so he definitely threw that up there. So for people that's going to be arriving early, we definitely want to organize in the back channel and, pull up to our loved ones on Howard, right? I think they need to be able to see us, be able to show up and have their back, these historic colleges were for our people. So we want to make sure that they can be proud of who they are. When we know like a lot of these universities are going through like a African heavy overtaking. So we want to make sure that we stay heavy on the lineage and get out there and show some love with them and, invite them and give them, opportunity to pull up. The youth definitely are the future. So anybody consider sending back channel. As it pertains to these points, I think what would be important for me is for us to really kind of start getting a revolving number that we can start making more consistent around our community. That is the baseline, right? We know there was the 5 million, there was the 151 million, there's 800,000, there's 300,000. So what are we actually talking about, right? Is it repair for slavery, repair for closing the lineage wealth gap, repair for the impacts of redlining, and if it's a culmination of all things, then let's really get a dollar amount as a baseline that we can really get our community consistent with knowing around the direct cash payments, because I often see that number fluctuate and then it doesn't. I've seen so many different ways it looks from, Thomas Kramer with the 151 for the calculation of slave labor in a 24-hour system. That's what that was. Then I see Dr. Darity with his. This is the racial wealth gap, and we would need this amount to close that. Then, people add the inventions, the patents that we lost, and people add the land that we lost and the cost of the land as it pertains to right now, and what would that be with inflation. So, I think, getting closer to what that number looks like would be real attractive for having our community be able to stand on it. If it's 500,000 as a baseline, cool. If it's 5 million, if we want to do it around, the genocide, $1 million per harm, cool. So I definitely think that, that'll help make that direct cash payment part stick out as number one, because there's we all know 40 acres and a mule, right? But what is the value of that right now? So we are looking at it from a cash value standpoint, literally right now. If we literally say 40 acres of land costs this much right now, if it's a high quality soil, land that we can build stuff on and grow things on, what's the value of it? And like the brother Cash say, make it a Tesla and not a mule. We add that there too. So I'm cool on that, right? I'm actually happy that they did include a direct cash payment part, because when you were reading it, I'm like, are they going to actually get towards some type of direct compensation? The student loan part is a trick bag. Because correct me if I'm wrong, I know also a part of the student loan forgiveness, you would have had to be paying your student debt for up to 10 years or something like that. And I know a lot of people went to school school and they ain't been paying them loans off, right? So I don't even know if there's a criteria in there that would disqualify them for it if they have not been making consistent payments over 10 years, or does it have to be 10 years? What are people who just of our lineage who they're not even 10 years ahead of school or haven't started to pay it off yet? Do you have to have a history of payments in order for it to be removed? And then we know that that's not really going to affect the baseline of our community, because we still in 2024 and we still got the first generation of our family of kids is going to college, right? It's still not something that's going to absorb that much, right? And then, I don't know. So I don't know if that seems more like a universal plan that would benefit all Americans way more than it would affect us. And it's not, no. But the other parts of it that I did like is the free college tuition. I think that's dope, right? I think that's dope. I always thought HBCU was free when I was young. I didn't know that. I thought that was free. I don't know. When I was a kid, I thought HBCU was free. But free college tuition, I think that's dope. I think when we talk about free college tuition, let's specify what type of institutions we talk about. Is it all colleges? Is it trade schools, right? Is it cosmetology schools, right? So we can make sure that it's, free college for all elements of higher education and places of learning that definitely involve skills trade and some type of skill development. So it's not like you get a degree and you got to go out there and find a job. If you got a degree in something that can create a job, or you actually have the skill set to be the job. So what does that look like? And is that to all academic institutions that are available right now? And is it private institutions, public? What does that mean? Or just only public education? The home ownership part, they have a lot of home ownership plans out here right now that when you start looking through the paperwork, they be getting wild confusing. I've been looking over, there's something called land banks, right, where you can look up these national land banks, and they always come with some type of homestead, first-time home buyer. Most of them also require, I would say most of them, but the ones that I came across also require your credit score to be high. So for those of us who had, got a credit card at 18 because they mailed it to your house, or, you had something in your name because, that's how it was, right? Your mama put the cable in your name, or, we never really had enough money to start rebuilding our credit, or now in our younger adult livelihoods, we're starting to really understand the impacts of having a high and good credit score. I don't know if, there's a criteria around that when it comes to this home ownership stuff. And then what does it actually look like? Are we able to, consolidate that to specific regions and communities, and not, okay, I got me a nice house and I live in an area where it's only a few Black people and I'm one of them, right? Are we able to kind of like position it in a way where we can literally apply it and buy up properties and land in specific communities and be able to kind of like start out safe havens for our own people? So I would want to see what that looks like. The last one, or the two that you said, which was the maternity, I think that's very important. I don't even know exactly to the lengths that they're talking about it, because I know we're looking at birthing centers in our communities ran by us, accredited doctors by us, lineage specific. We're using the term cultural competency and ethnic understanding, like lineage specific, because you might go to people that are melanated, but they're not your people. And, we still might be dying to the hands of those individuals. So, you mean that tell me that you don't have to? It's like, no, it's legal. You just got to fill out all the paperwork after. So education around that would be important too, in terms of what they mean there. And what support are they going to have for those single mothers, right? We don't want the Planned Parenthood stuff, more abortions with our children, creating a better pipeline of support. So if that's going to come with resources and support, what would that look like? Because that needs to be specified when we talk about maternal health and not reproductive rights. they done remarketed what it mean to be get an abortion. That's what it sounds like. And the last one, that land part, I didn't really hear all that you said about the land with the Pussy speech. But if we talk about people being able to get access back to their land, I think that's when like that bureau comes in hand, or expert genealogists, because many of us are doing our lineage, getting our paperwork, finding our ancestors, but it's not often that people are able to look at documents and know exactly what happened there. Sometimes they're written in old cursive, so it's hard to read the documents, and people might be sitting on the paperwork that shows that their land was taken away, or their land was lost in some weird deal, or they might have land available for them now. So what would that look like in terms of a system mechanized to help the lineage be able to bring all their documents? So here's my name, and my mama name, my father's name, and my 4 grandparents' name, and that kind of opens up the door of all the paperwork to be able to tell people what's in their names, what they're owed, and what land is available if they had land, right? It's not, that may not be everybody's situation, but what situation sets up there? Thank you for that much time. So you let me cook on it, and I'll land.
All right, appreciate that. I see David Benjamin left from David Benjamin had a comment on YouTube. He says, I have gotten 4 senators and 13 assembly members to co-sponsor New Jersey Reparations Bill S386, all non-FBA, Latins, Asians, Ellis Islanders. We need to create a team of First Amendment auditors. Okay. All right. We talked, I think we talked a little bit about the New Jersey Reparations Bill a little bit, but I don't know it in detail enough to actually to really discuss it like that. DJ may know something about it. Let me go ahead and hit up Brother Moku, and then that Negro. Brother Moku, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's going on, family? Peace to everybody. New Negro, original WPI, Newstoter, definitely. Miss Val, one of my favorites. Miss Val, I was trying to hit you in your inbox because when no taxation hit me, but I can't get to your inbox. You got me blocked, so you might gotta unblock me so I can hit you with that information. So I was definitely trying to get my information to you. But I just wanted to say to the space, definitely support our brother. I mean, this is constructive. I think this is going to be monumental, just like Tariq Nasheed's reparations rally and the one that no taxation. Even though they white supremacists did a number on us with that one, still it was still all successful because it brought us to this point. So yeah, those 7 points. I'm always talking about how important words are, and I want us to keep in mind when we are out here, even when we're down at this rally, giving our takes and our speeches and our BGQs, which are all valuable, by the way, and I appreciate all the BGQs that I've heard thus far. But one thing I think, or I suggest that us as victims of racism, white supremacy, should always harp on is that we're not trying to be equal to the system of debauchery. I like to see in any points, I don't see it in the 7 points of eliminating the system of racism, white supremacy, and establishing a system of justice. I would also suggest in the 7 points the new compensatory calculated meaning for justice, the 2 guarantees, guaranteeing that no one is mistreated ever, guaranteeing that whoever needs constructive help, or whoever needs help the most, gets constructive help. And what that constructive help is when you need help, and once you get the constructive help, you don't need help with that ever again. This is a standard, and I think this is a time. I trust this is a time to set a higher standard. And unfortunately, it's a shame that it has to come to this, because it should, natural law. We already have something called natural law that is all about preserving life. So the 7 points, the only problem that I heard with it is that cash payments wasn't first. You know, cash payments, repair costs money. Okay? If I broke a nail, fingernail I'm talking about, it costs money to get it repaired. If I break a leg, it costs money to get it repaired. Everything costs money. Mental repair costs money. Land, give me money to manage it. You know, you need money to buy plows. You need money to your time is money. Okay? I appreciate everyone's VGQ as far as yesterday's price is not today's price. Look, the price changed every goddamn hour. Excuse my French. Every goddamn hour. It changes. And that's not no fault to the victims. Okay? You didn't cut the check 200 years ago. Well, guess what? You got to pay the interest. Okay? And there's no price on blood. This is true. And I say this all the time because it is the truth. But it is a start for the offspring, my descendants, who I'll never get a chance to meet. So I feel like this is what we're doing this for. I appreciate everyone in here for their time and energy, which equals your health. So I don't want to get on a long rant because, I do have a lot to say, and I know that all of the victims have a lot of BGQs, and I'm so interested in hearing more. But Talent, I definitely will be there on the 15th, and we definitely will catch up before then, brother. I've not forgotten about you. I just got so much going on. But, as a victim of racism, white supremacy, one of the things that I'm trying to master right now is mastering the art of multitasking. And not just because the white supremacists do it, but because I see constructive results when it's done correctly. And I trust that we are the people. We are the people that can create a system of justice and not just create it, but maintain it. You feel me? Justice is hard to maintain. It's hard to guarantee my sister Val safety. And I'm way here in Baltimore, she way where she at. And guarantee it. And guaranteeing that any help she needs, she get the most constructive help. Art, that Negro, New Negro, WPI, everybody. This is a hard thing to do, and it's hard to maintain those two guarantees. So dismantling racism, white supremacy, this is the easy part, and I feel like we're doing it beautifully, but another thing that we can do even better is create a system of justice and maintain it. I'll land there.
All right. Thank you, Brother Moku. We give another shout out to R. Bailey for another super chat. R. Bailey says, our financial condition is a result of deprivation. There should be no stipulation placed upon freedmen's benefits. No doubt about that. I don't disagree with you one bit on that one. Let me go ahead and kick it to that Negro. That Negro, what's going on tonight? How you doing?
Yes, sir. Doing all right. Salute to Brother Newstoter, Brother DJ. Thank you again for the space and original blood. Definitely all y'all. Did I say that right? Let me see the brother's name again. Yeah, original blood. Thank you for the space. Peace, power, and Negro reparations, specifically for the Black American Negro that built this country with slave labor per the lands promised in Special Field Orders 15, January 16th, 1865. Yeah, man, I'm excited. That Negro in the wheelchair will definitely be there. Just lock my tickets in. I'll be there from the 12th through the 16th. Definitely looking forward to pushing this mandatory issue along with my people that near or far we have worked together to get to this point. And it's an honor, y'all. It really is. And I appreciate everybody that that's done whatever they had or have. That being said, I keep on missing these meeting invites, y'all. For some reason, I ain't getting them. So I'm going to say this on the recorded space just so it's known and heard. With the prior events, like anything, I want to let it be known if it's not wheelchair accessible, that Negro can't get in. So if the people picking the venues could definitely say something about that, I'd appreciate it. I mean, I'm going to have fun out there with our people, period, point blank. But to get in those spots, they got to be wheelchair accessible. So I definitely wanted to drop that dime in there. What else? Another thing, the new Negro. This is to you directly. The Negro resolution that we wrote. Again, I suggest that we, yourself, it would be better coming from you since you're from that area. Pick out those 25 harms, throw them on the resolution, and when we're doing that lobbying, I mean, since the work's already done, give that to your representative out that way. That's a damn good way to get this truth in their face. I did it here in Washington. We could prove to other people how easy it is by how quickly you could put that together for the harms done to y'all. And we could definitely introduce that. I think that would be another great idea. Please, y'all, donate what you can. This is going to be one hell of a trip, but I seen a little piece of what this is going to cost, and I would say this 6-hour event is going to be about $25K. So please, y'all, kick in. Let's make this as momentous and as galvanizing as possible. Get those young kids into it. Get the people, our people, into this, because this could be a start of the silver bullet reality for everyone else in this world, y'all. This could be the reality check that the U.S. government has been running away from for quite some time. Definitely got a good speech, and I cannot wait to give it. Looking forward to it, y'all. Negro reparations, Negro or bust. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Thank you, that Negro. And I want to ask a question for you and Talent. And Brother Moko, I got you next, but I just want to ask you guys, has there been any kickback, anybody upset about the reparation rally and the word Negro being put out front? Have you guys had any negative feedback on that? Just asking.
Not one on my end.
I haven't heard anything specific, but I would also say it would be a shame if anybody would have an issue with that. I think that the signs did say Negroes for sale, right? And this isn't even one of those Negro over anybody. It was an understanding that when I wanted to look to honor our ancestors who marched in D.C., Martin Luther King, I understood that in that time frame, they stood on the term Negro. So it was really in honor of, our people who had went there. And if anybody would search Save the Negro hashtag, I've been putting that hashtag over a year now. That's like my signature, because I believe it's something called digital graffiti, right? This is something like we call it a hashtag hijacking, where we just create. I do this with youth when I work with kids, but on this app specifically, I just always put Save the Negro. So if you search that hashtag, you're gonna see a bunch of stuff that I posted of people who post similar things in regards to the term. So we're just kind of keeping the same concept. Save the Negro. We are the American Negro. We are the American freedmen, right? We are an amalgamation with the indigenous Black Americans, right? We are all the same people, foundational Black Americans. I just understood from a historical reference point, and I also had to get the flyer approved. So I had to go through a full permit process. I had to meet with the parks and the city, state, agency, government. They said if there's any guest speakers of high profile who Like, there's a vetting system, right? You just don't get no permit to be on that grounds without it. And one of the things that they did ask was, do we have any enemies? Is there people who would hate us, or are people going to show up and try to mess up our rally or our protest demonstration? And I was like, nah, but I do know that, there are some identifiers that, some people have tried to weaponize, right? You got the ADOS stuff that people have tried to make into something. You got the FBA stuff that people have tried to attack. So I didn't want to unwillingly fall into what luggage that is not necessarily for us to hold, where we just trying to go out there and do something for the community, right? This ain't no, we don't, I'm not Tariq Nasheed. We don't got no big I'm not, no big profile person. So I wasn't trying to take that. I'm not Yvette Carnell and been around since 2016 with this. So however long they've been doing that. So I just wanted to stick to what we stuck to. And it wasn't to be an offense to anyone else. It's really to provide a platform for all of us to show up. So if somebody would have an issue with that, I don't think they see the big picture. The big picture is you got 15 minutes, stand on Freeman, come through, right? It ain't really that deep to me. It's just being honest to the history. We at last time I looked at us launching them as Negroes, so I just support that. That's all.
All right, appreciate that, guys. And yeah, I'm just asking a question. I didn't know how some people may look at it. They see a flyer or something, they see Negro on there, especially if they're now that haven't been privy to the conversations that's been taking place on social media for the past couple of years. So I was just wondering about that as well. But just checking with you guys. I just want to kind of get an idea, and see if there was any kickback on that or whatnot. But I'm glad to hear that, you guys haven't had any issue. At least nobody's come up to you and said anything about it. So shout out on that. Let me go ahead and get to Brother Moku. Brother Moku, go ahead and unmute your mic. Anybody else that want to speak? And if you guys, if we have any listeners in here that plan on going to the actual demonstration and you want to talk about it, or you want to be a speaker, or you want to talk about the 7 reparation ideas for Black America, if you agree with that as well too, feel free to come up here. We're not going to have a long space. We want to go ahead and get it in while we can. So if anybody wants to speak, definitely come on up here and speak. But Brother Moku, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, thanks again, Newstoter, for letting me speak. One other point that I forgot to mention, because I'm so excited about this, is I'm glad, and I'm really grateful that you made it on April 15th, because you need to wake up the Lake Lanier situation that's going on. And if you are not privy to information about Lake Lanier, it is a very black city that was called Oscarville that is under Lake Lanier. They flooded the city. It was a town of about 1,100 black people, mostly Civil War veterans, landowners that wouldn't leave their land because they were being forced out. And so the white supremacists blew up a dam and flooded the city and removed Oscarville from the map and renamed it Lake Lanier. The whole town is still intact, buried under hundreds of feet of water. This happened in 1958. So when we talk about repair and the damages being done, the story gets even sicker, and I'm not going to go deep into it, but I will say this.
Yeah, because I'm Brother Mocha, I'm going to probably hold a space on that too sometime this week, so don't hit it too much.
Okay, well, I won't go too deep into it. I've already done a space on it, but again, Newstoter says he's going to do a space on it, and I'm definitely going to be there. I would suggest everyone bring your offspring to this space when Newstoter holds it. And when we talk about repair, and I say that words are very important, we're not fighting to be equal to this. We're not fighting to be able to do what they do. You know, our whole fight is about not being harmed, the guarantee of not being harmed ever. So without going into it, and I won't go any more into it. Told it. I'll just say I'll land there.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to that Negro. And like I said, anybody else that wants to speak, definitely come on up here while we got the space going. Go ahead, that Negro.
Yeah, just real quick. Something I learned through all the madness of the name banging times and kind of those times becoming kind of a hindrance, a thorn in my side with having the courage, you know, to go in front of elected officials and all these people in prominent positions with that word after so much kickback here on the website. You know, it was kind of like, damn, well, if we get talked about, I mean, I got over it and walked through it. But what I found throughout all those times is when you're going to elected officials or you're going to talk to someone respectfully and to really get the best spin off of the word Negro is definitely throwing American before or after. I think that resonates a lot clearer to people, and I think that it's a lot more, from what I've seen, my experience. This is just me, y'all. This isn't like the book to make a Negro all right, but a way to make it more palatable and a way to really accentuate the power of it, put the American before or after. And again, I didn't get any kind of pushback, brother. And I'll yield there.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you, that Negro. Shout out to my man Nightfall on YouTube. He wants to know what's the 7 options, ideas for the reparations. So in case anybody missed it, when I was reading the article, 7 reparation ideas for Black America, they had student loan forgiveness as number 1. They had housing assistance as number 2. Number 3, they had free college tuition. Number 4, they had return to land. Number 5, they had maternal health resources. I believe number 6 was about the marijuana and the criminalizing people behind marijuana. And number 5 was maternal health resources. I think 6 was about the marijuana, criminalizing people because of marijuana. Number 7 was direct cash payments. So that's what they were talking about in terms of ideas for Black reparations. So in case anybody missed it, it's also in the Jumbotron. It's also in the description on YouTube as well, too, guys. So that's what they were talking about. Like Original said, that article actually, even though it was curated by one of my curation partners, it was originally published on Revolt. So, that's where the actual article came from. DJ, are you up in the space? Okay, DJ must not be up in the space. So I try to get back to him in a second. Polo Style says direct cash payments. Polo Styles, I don't disagree with you. Like Original said, like I said, the fact that was actually the 7th. That was actually the 7th, and I don't consider returning stolen land myself as being, an idea for reparations. You just get a land back. That's not reparations. So I don't really consider that reparations myself in particular. But hey, that's just me. Go ahead, Brother Moku.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add too. I don't think marijuana marijuana bill or anything should even be in our reparations repair. Now if you're talking about growing hemp or stuff like that, but I don't think we should worry about or even we got so many other bigger issues going on like that marijuana thing. We should just leave that where it is as far as where it comes to reparations. not even mentioning that or making that a talking point. And I also wanted to mention, words are very important. So when we mentioning about making Negroes or victims of racism, white supremacy a protected class, being a protected class, it includes the birth, the Planned Parenthood pandemic of killing infants in the womb. That should be included in the protected class act or right. So there's a lot of these things that can be added to what those 7 points are. I feel like the 7 points that were presented are kind of weak, and that's just my BGQ. No offense to anyone, but I feel like we do have a few good points on there, and we can put more than a few good more to make it 7. That marijuana thing is just like I feel like that's just a waste of a time wasting tactic, especially when you're mentioning and talking about something as important as our repair and our guarantee to not be harmed.
Absolutely too. And then not only that, when certain things too, when you're talking about reparations, like Nightfall on YouTube says student loan debt forgiveness is worthless because if you have cash, you can pay off your student loans. But not only that, say you didn't go to college and you don't have any student loans. Say you went to college and you got a scholarship to play ball and you didn't incur any student loan debt as well either. So if reparations should be something for everybody, every single solitary person that's Black. Like I say, I don't mind you creating policies and even having laws, but in terms of, something tangible, I'm talking about the money and I'm talking about land. Now, if you want to go ahead and you want to do things like education, free scholarships and this and that, whatever, you can pass laws and you can do that or whatever. But, in terms of that, the actual student loan debt forgiveness and people are sitting up here and they'll say, well, this was with Black people and this and that. But like I say, if you have people that did not go to college, or you have people that did go to college and got some kind of scholarship and they don't have any student loan debt, or you got people that may have been upper class Black people and they parents paid for it and they didn't get any debt or whatever, that's not, it's supposed to be something that everybody can benefit from. So that's the main thing I'll say about that. Go ahead, Talent, you got it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to touch on that marijuana thing. Fun fact in the state of New York, because that was also referenced out here, you have to own property to have a license for marijuana. So now you got to think about New York and how expensive property is. So there's certain things that be interesting, right? 70% of the people that get incarcerated in the state of New York that end up upstate come from the inner city. So the 5 boroughs, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island, and the Bronx, is what populates the prisons upstate. So if individuals that are coming back home who are impacted by the war on drugs, mass incarceration, marijuana laws, that lock brothers and sisters up, having the ability to own property in the city to even qualify for a license is drastic, because this probably costs a lot of money. It's talking about millions of dollars, literally, like for lots, not even with buildings on it, right? So it's kind of how like they position certain things and they make it like an obstacle. So one of the reasons why so not one of the reasons, but in how it plays out is you have a lot of brothers and sisters who are now in bed with white people because they had to maintain 51% of ownership to qualify for whatever business you're setting up. And now the 49% goes to the investor, right? And then you become the face of something, or, they play on this so many different ways because you just don't have the capital to own it. And it's also not free. And I think out here to get a license, it might be 150, 60 after all the fees and stuff like that. So they cut it in half. So you still got to put up 75K, right? So think about coming home from jail, even if you've been home for a while, having 75K because you're getting a half off and you got to own property, right? This is one of the reasons why smoke shops is popping up. They're illegal. One of the reasons why when we talk about I think this might be 56 plus new license marijuana, and people that gain marijuana licenses out here. And one of the things that we put in just from my organization out here, because I work with Justice Bob Youth, is I wanted to get we asked for a report on delineate that. How many of these people of color or minorities were descendants of slaves that got a license, right? And then shit get real quiet, right? Because you got a bunch of people who got marijuana licenses out here, but they not us. There's a white person, like a white woman who's a minority who got a goddamn, it's nasty out here. And then the other element is you have to be on one part or one, and it might be the same in other states, but also you can only be on one side of the trade, right? So you can't be, if you're going to be a grower, you got to be a grower. And most of the people that grow are the ones that do that upstate or different areas. And then on this side, you got to be retail. So that's basically with a dispensary. But the way in which that they position it in language sounds great. But when you start getting into the practical measures, because we have people come teach classes on how to get into the marijuana industries at the school called, what is that, Canaware, and they really work with people, like literally work in the hood to help guys and girls who are, not quote up the lineage because they not lineage, but help black people, whatever, get licenses. And we be reaching out to them and talking about, wait, how many of these people are descendants of slaves who have historically been impacted by these laws, and how many of them are actually getting licenses, whether it's they getting licenses to be a grower or licenses to open up a dispensary. And that's when you start to see the disparities, and if shit starts to look like another affirmative action. So even in a situation like that, like how specific is it, and what is the criteria and expectations that they have? And it might look different in other states, but right now in New York, in order to get a license, you got to own property. And we talking about the black flight back to the South and the property value and the cost of living increasing. And most people that live in the inner city, they just don't got the capital. And then if you want to move upstate to do it and be a grower or have a dispensary, now you got to deal with living upstate, which is like northern country, which is away from everywhere. And now you got to even figure out how that works. So there's everything comes with something. So like Moku said, I would keep that marijuana shit far away from reparations, far away. That should be.
Hey, try not to curse though, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. That should be its own thing, right? Let that fall with involuntary servitude and justice, for those who have been wrongfully incarcerated. But that don't got to be reparations, right? Unless they're gonna just take the taxes on it on a national level for a national reparations fund, something like that. But we would just be dealing with the raw dollars.
Real talk. Appreciate that talent. Let me read a question real quick from Muffet on the YouTube. Muffet says, what Democrat or Republican in D.C. is seriously pushing reparations? I see many advocating dozens of policies and billions for immigrants. Also, Muffet says, I asked that question because it is an incumbent that we consider the reality when planning strategy. In the last election cycle, even losing politicians refuse to discuss reparations. Nightfall said this. He says, I am sorry for sisters who have maturity issues, but pregnancy is a 50-50 condition regardless, unless we plan on teaching our girls to be midwives and deliver our own kids. That's not feasible. Muffet also says there was a leaked DNC memo that told all Democrats not to do anything for Black Americans. From my perspective, that is how the entire party operates. We're wasting time petitioning that party. Nightfall says, which only leaves cash payment to Black people. White supremacy has to give up power. White supremacy main power comes from their economy. Okay, so shout out to those brothers for for their comments over there on YouTube as well, guys. Real quick, I'm gonna get to you, Sonny, real quick. For those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter, Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, the Venmo and PayPal is up in the actual Jumbotron. Same for my people over there on YouTube. $Newstoter, Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, the Venmo and PayPal is in the description. And also, like I said, for those that want to support us on a monthly level, you can go ahead and we got the link to the Newstoter customer panel. You can go ahead, create a profile, and you can pick a membership plan for as low as $1.75 a month to support Newstoter, support the Black media. Once again, for as low as $1.75, you can support us monthly. That is in the description on YouTube and on the actual screen, and that's in the Jumbotron. Think about definitely getting one of those membership plans to support us monthly. It is definitely affordable and cheap. Sonny, what's going on? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, peace, Newstoter. What's good?
What's up?
What's good, family? Yeah, man, definitely, man. Great conversation to build. Definitely looking forward to getting out there. Linking up with the brother Talent. I don't know if tax exemption was mentioned. I was kind of in and out of the space, but if not, I would definitely like to add, being tax free, for the descendants of slaves. And it's like a lot of conversations that's being had around that lately. Especially with the brother Terrence Howard and a few other celebrities, different people mentioning that. And I think that definitely can be, used and weaponized and galvanized amongst us, we get like a lot of, legs and momentum behind that. So I would definitely like to add that, to the ideas, if you're a descendant of chattel slavery, we definitely shouldn't be paying no taxes. I think that's something that, we could definitely, add to the conversation.
Oh yeah, we actually in the space maybe about 2 weeks ago we had that talking point as well too about the actual descendants of chattel slavery, because we took it right from the talking about Terrence Howard that night, and that's what it was about, Terrence Howard on not paying taxes. And of course lately we saw, I think it was the other day or the day before, you had some of the MSNBC podcasters and saying that, hey, that Black Americans shouldn't have to pay taxes as well too, because basically everything that went on. So it's something we discussed as well too, because like I said, we talked about it. I believe Native Americans are tax exempt as well too. So on top of having their own sovereign nations and having the casinos and everything else as well too. So at the very least, you would think that Black Americans would also have that same have that same ability as well too, to on top of everything else that we need. Being tax free would definitely be a big help. So I definitely agree with you on that. And I agree with what a lot of people saying as well too on the tax exemption as well too. So I could even imagine, if Black people were able to get casinos the way that Native Americans got casinos and stuff in this country. If you think that the casinos that the Native Americans got booming, you can imagine what Black people would actually do with them as well too. So I definitely feel you on that. You see, oh Lord, is this Mimi trying to come up here? Oh my God. Hey DJ, you up in the space? I know this your girl.
Check 1 2 1 2. I'm here.
I see your girl Mimi trying to come up here. Oh my Lord, let me.
Oh hell no.
I'm gonna actually let her come up here. I want to see what she got to say. Jesus.
Ooh, Apollo.
All right, Mimi.
He's here.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say good evening.
Hello.
A lot of folks are hearing me speak this time of the evening. But I'm here now.
Okay. So
I'm real here.
So Mimi, what's your what's your
Listen.
thought? What's your thought, real quick? Oh, no.
Could Jesus want me to brag about him a little bit?
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Now, hold on. Let me turn my mic. Listen, Jesus want me to brag about the movies he was in.
What?
Yeah. Hold on.
No, Jesus wants you to talk about the conversation that's going on tonight. That's what Jesus wants you to do. See, this is honestly like.
Listen, listen.
Okay.
Talk about
I'm gonna mute the mic 1 second, Sweet Pea, and I'm gonna give you a second to go ahead and discuss the actual title of the room, which is Reparations Rally in DC and 7 reparation ideas for Black Americans. So I want to hear what you got to say about reparations, sweetie. I know you may have had a long day, and we don't want to stress you out. So I want to go ahead and give you the chance to go ahead and speak on that, because I'm sure the room would love to hear your ideas on reparation, the reparation rally, and the 7 reparation ideas for Black America. So how about that? How about you go ahead and share that with us, sweetie? You can unmute your mic now. I think it's a double mute, but go ahead.
listen. I be ordering food and shit. I'm scared the motherfucker be nothing in my shop. I want the goddamn measles. But anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all the movie that Jesus man.
All right. Well, Mimi, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you for coming up here tonight. We appreciate that. You take care, sweetie. And hopefully when you come back and you're feeling a little bit better, we'll get you back up here and you can elaborate a little bit better. Not tonight though. Second pieces. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I accidentally pressed the button. My apologies, but I am enjoying listening to the space, and I want to thank New Negro Republic for sharing his, knowledge of, of our history, etc. And I'm in the DMV area, so I'll make an effort to stop by the event on April 15th, God willing. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate you coming up here. I see we got some other people. I know No Taxation. I don't know if you want to come up here and speak. Anybody else that wants to come up here and speak? Like I said, we're not going to hold the space too much longer. We want to go ahead and give people a chance that may want to come up and speak and talk about it. Mimi, we tried, sweetie. We tried, but we just couldn't get there for whatever reason. So maybe next time we'll come back. But we tried. We did try. So thank you for at least coming up and requesting a microphone to speak. So maybe next time we can get on point a little bit more. But you have a nice with me. Maybe it's time to take a little nap or whatever. Take a little bit of medicine and lay down for the night. Feel a little bit better, sweetie, when you wake up in the morning. I promise you. Val, did you want to speak? I said you came back up here.
Yes, thanks. I'm just going to thank you again for holding the space for us. And I want to say a special thanks to No Taxation for her help. Also, I didn't see her in the crowd earlier, but she's been a big help with locating speakers. Just want to iterate. If you want to spot, please back channel me. We're looking forward to hearing from everybody and seeing everybody. We be in these spaces together, and hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. And April is when the cherry blossoms are out, so I'm really looking forward to being in Washington for the rally. But back channel me, especially give me your email, Brother Muko. I got you. I got your information. And Rella, we already spoke. I'm looking forward to you being there. And I'm just looking forward to meeting everybody and that we talk to here in the spaces. I hope everybody in here in this space can show up or send somebody that or do some type of video for us. That will be wonderful. And thank you, Newstoter, again. Shout out to Original NWPI.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Val. Appreciate it as always. Rel, I saw you came up here. Did you want to speak, say something?
Oh my gosh.
Well, no, that's a no.
I was sitting there listening. Man, I was just thinking in my head, hey, Newstoter and DJ and Original. Shout out to the space.
A lot is going on, but I just want to tell talent, and the team who's ever working with talent and everyone that's working to put on the event. I'm very proud of you, and I don't think there is an argument between representing the classifications at all. There shouldn't be. All historical records of information should be discussed and represented if you are a descendant. I would love for more of the DC historical representatives definitely to show up, because there is a lot of freedmen history. There's also a freedmen cemetery in DC. So having those things represented and talked about, even the history coming from through Delaware all the way down into DC and in Virginia. The Mount Pillier descendants who were in Virginia, Thomas Bulch Library, I will reach out to some of my contacts and see if they would be willing to also show up and maybe even be guest speakers, because it's important that people understand that, Virginia, underneath the Mason-Dixon line, was a hotbed in regards to what happened with slavery, and we haven't even touched on unpacking what happened between Maryland and Virginia, and in Delaware. So, again, I think this is great. To the topic, my ideas for us are to understand that this is a long game and that we need to make sure that we are in it for the long haul. Yes, we want to see some things happen right away that can maybe give us some sustainability as we go through the fight. So that is going to be about running for office, Black majority state, looking for representatives whom have agendas that we can also be a part of, getting involved in their campaigns. And the other thing I think is we need to attack the Treasury Department, which the Freedmen Savings Bank is attached. And the reason why I say that is because if you have a Social Security number in the United States, you were born and you were given a Social Security number, you are a part of what is called the United States Trust. And in that trust are billions of dollars associated to your control number on the back of your Social Security card. Not your Social Security number, your control number on the back of your Social Security card. Remember, you heard me say this. And when you really think about it, one person might have one or two bonds to their name. So while we're sitting here struggling, and we're sitting here, or if you're not struggling, or if you are in a position where you are a descendant, and we are sitting here dealing with the elements that we have to deal with on a daily basis, they need to release our bonds to us immediately. And so if you took out a bond, this would be my answer to the United States. You took out a bond against us without our asking. You took out a bond if you have children and you birth children and they gave you a Social Security number against your children's Social Security number without you knowing. And they allowed you to sit around and struggle and say you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps by using your credit report and all this other stuff. They have been abusing us financially for years. So if you don't hear nothing else from me tonight, look up that information, what I just said. Each and every one of you has a bond number. You might have one or two. Some of your family members might have passed away, and they may have bond numbers and money that was associated to them. And if they didn't claim it, I'm not sure what happens. So all I'm going to say is this game that they put us in, they did not want us to read get the information. That's the reason why for over a few decades, they tried to make reading illegal. So now TikTok, social media, you can get information so quickly and so fast without having to really go anywhere. As long as people are gatekeeping the information, they lead you down a path that will end up letting you know that you are the trust. You are under a trust to your name that's worth over billions of dollars. If you don't believe me, go look it up. So with reparations, that would be on top of you having a trust or being under a trust. Reparations is money that is owed, that is due from the families that have benefited off of our ancestral debt. So that money that they didn't get belongs to us. It belongs to us because they paid the ultimate price and they were sacrificed. They were not given up in sacrifice. They were sacrificed by other people for other families to thrive. So we taking all that back, all of it. So I just dropped some new nuggets for you all to run down and run on and see what the end is going to be. And I hope and I pray that everybody shows up. If you can, I would love to meet you. I am here in the DC area. I'm only 35 minutes away, so I look forward to definitely seeing everybody. And I land.
All right. Thank you, Rella. We go ahead and get to Ray. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's going on, everybody, tonight? I think everything has already been said, so I hate to do this, but I want to let everyone know something that I found out that I think is very important for us to know. And I'm going to be very quickly. So if you haven't heard, on the 18th, which is, I believe is today, that the illegal immigrants can now carry guns according to the federal judge ruling. So I just wanted to just bring that to everyone's attention, let everyone know if you haven't been carrying, you might want to start, because the non-citizens at this point have the same exact right to carry a gun as we do.
All right. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. On that note, I guess, guys, we're going to get ready to close it out. Shout out to Talent for being one of the organizers behind this reparation rally demonstration in DC. April 15th, guys. Definitely for those that can make it, definitely come out and support. So shout out to everybody that came up in the space tonight as well, too, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Should be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday. Should be back tomorrow. If not tomorrow, be back Wednesday, guys. So shout out to everybody. Y'all have a good night. Peace. And we will see you either Tuesday or Wednesday. Goodbye.